The full release of Hades 2 is officially here, and as someone that has over 100 plus hours inside of the game in early access, here are a couple things on my list inside this video that are absolutely crucial for those of you that are jumping in for the first time. Let's get into it. I'll start with the first thing that is very noticeable inside of Hades 2 compared to Hades 1 is that you are not as tanky as Zagreus as you're playing as Malenoe. You are able to move around much faster inside this game as compared to Hades 1 as you're playing as Zagreus, and inside this game you need to make sure that you rely more on that speed than anything else. Your speed and the ability to use more long distance attacks with a bunch of these different weapons you have inside the game is going to be your best friend, because again, you're not very tanky, and in the early runs of this game before you really start leveling up Malenoe, you can go down pretty easily, especially in the first areas of the game. So in short, keep your distance if you can, rely on all your different abilities that you have now as Malenoe as compared to when you were Zagreus, and make sure that you level up by using the couple different things I'm about to mention, like the cauldron spells and your Arcana cards. Now, like I mentioned a second ago, the incantations and the spells inside of the cauldron are some of the major upgrades that you can make to the certain regions inside of your runs on both the underworld and on the surface when you unlock it. After and before every single one of your runs, you should be checking this cauldron for upgrades and different incantations that you can do that are going to benefit you. Doing this early on really made my runs that much easier and allowed me to beat the game so much faster. Now, of course, I'm not going to spoil some of those major spells that you can do inside of the cauldron, but let me tell you, you're going to be very surprised by some of the stuff you'll be able to unlock. Now, the next major thing they should absolutely focus on is upgrading your Arcana cards. You'll upgrade and unlock this very early on inside of the game. This allows you to have upgrades for Malenoe as you play through and unlock all of these different cards. You could do a variety of different builds with these cards. As you can see as I'm going through them, they all do something different depending on if you have activated them or not. Now, it's going to be very obvious very quickly that some of these are a lot better than others, such as the Death card that allows you to have more Death Defiance. Now, you're probably wondering, how do you have 3 Death Defiance? You're also able to upgrade each of these cards by doing Insights. Insights require a certain material that you unlock as you play through the game, which I won't spoil how you unlock it, but it's fairly easy to get as you progress through the game. But upgrading these cards are some of the major effects that help you as Malenoe as you simply go from interaction to interaction and boss fight to boss fight. My biggest recommendation with the cards is find a couple that you want to upgrade and use immediately and unlock them as fast as possible. Now, as you play through the game of Hades 2, you're going to notice that yes, there are a lot of different items that you need to save up. Obviously, some of those are going to be the Nectars and the Ambrosia. These are going to be called Indulgences. There's a couple different things that you can get that are called Indulgences. The most memorable are definitely going to be the Nectar bottles and the Ambrosia. My biggest tip with these items is to hoard them up as much as possible and don't use them at every opportunity that you can. The Nectar is a little difficult to do that with because the Nectar is the main way that you increase your relationship with all the different characters that can take Nectar, but hold on to everything else because they are used at only major points of relationships with these different characters. Now, one of the more fun things you can do inside of Hades 2 that you couldn't do inside of Hades 1 is that you can unlock animal familiars that run around with you inside of your runs and fight, and each one of them does something unique. For example, in my game, you can see that I have a cat running around with me that is attacking different enemies. She distracts different enemies and yes, does attack them. She also allows you to go to fishing spots to catch different fish for free. Now, you must be wondering, why is that helpful? Because every single run you'll unlock some tools that allow you to do certain things in the world. One is actually going to be a fishing rod. You get this very early on. Now, you can use a different tool at the same time as you have tools, such as a pickaxe to get different materials, but you obviously can't fish with a pickaxe. But if you have Tula as your animal familiar and you see a fishing location, you can use her to fish instead. Now, Tula is just one example of the animal familiars. As you see in my game at the moment, I have 3 different animal familiars. One is Tula the cat, one is Rocky the raven, and another one is Phrynos the toad. All of this is to say that you need to not underestimate the power of all these different animal familiars because, again, they are extremely helpful in their own unique ways. Now, actually unlocking the familiars will take you a good amount of time inside the game, but when you do unlock your familiars, you're going to see how useful they can be, so if you can, do it early on. Now, the final recommendation for you that I have inside of this game is unlocking the surface as soon as you possibly can, because it's basically half the game, and there are a lot of different things inside of the surface that you simply will not find inside of the underworld. And of course, strictly talking for my 100+ hours inside of this game in early access, you will eventually be bored of the underworld and everything you can do. You'll unlock everything at some point in the underworld and need a new challenge. That is going to be the surface. So the sooner that you're able to do that, the longer that you're going to want to keep playing Hades 2, in my opinion. opinion, because there's so many things that you can unlock and only unlock by getting materials, experiences, and fighting bosses inside of the surface. Now, there are of course a lot of other more minute things that I can mention that you should do early on, but that would spoil so much of this game, and trust me, when you start getting your hands on Hades 2, it's going to be so much more fun if you experience most of this for the first time. My goal for this video is to give you a little bit of a guide of a direction you should go and what you should focus on to make your experience better and to maximize the amount of fun that you have in this game. Personally, if you unlock the surface early on, you're going to be playing this much longer than you probably would if you stop before you even unlock the surface. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, hit the like, subscribe buttons for me down below, and I'll catch you in the next video.